Hello again, guys. A couple of days ago, a company called eLiveBuy reached out to me on my email address and asked if I'd be interested in taking a look at this product. Now, the reason I'm looking at it right this second is because they emailed me on Friday evening, like at 10 p.m. And Sunday morning, this showed up. I was ridiculously impressed with how fast this thing showed up. So I just wanted to quickly get it out of the package, take a look at it, plug it up, and just see how it works. So effectively what you have here is a 6-outlet surge protector. As you can see here, it has 6 outlets on it, with a 5-port USB charging hub, 40-watt 5-port. So 3 of these ports are 1 amp, or they're supposedly 1 amp. 2 of the ports, I believe, are 2.4 amps, yeah. So yeah, let's just open this up and just see what comes in it. The packaging, just looking at it very firsthand here, it looks an awful lot like what you get when you buy an Anker product. So that's very comforting, very familiar. And then here is the actual product itself. Yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot more to it because there's no accessories. You've got your little instruction manual, you've got your We Want Your Support and your feedback card here, but just chucking everything off to the side, here it is. So yeah, it is eLiveBuy or eLiveBuy, I'm not sure which one that is. Supercharger times 5. Here's your 5 USB ports. They each say 1 amp or 2.4 amp for 2 of them. And then 6 outlets, as well as having here on the bottom, or the end, I guess you would say, an on-off switch. So that's very, very handy. And I would assume that turns the entire thing off. As far as the cable that comes attached to it, just because of the limitations here of the camera frame, I have stretched this out, and the cable itself is about 4 feet long, something like that. So it should be no problem to get from the wall to the actual device itself. Now, the one thing I do find myself concerned with about this just immediately is that you have your outlets, which you normally would have near an wall outlet, and then you've got your USB ports, which I would normally want to put near a desk or on a desk. So you've got a device I would normally put on the floor with a device that I would normally put on a desk. Which one does it go with? If you put it on the floor, you've got to have longer USB cables. If you put it on the desk, you're gonna have a bunch of relatively unsightly plugs sticking out all over the place. So what I might do is end up sticking this on my desk, plugging monitors into it, things that are going to be on the desk anyway, so there aren't as many cords running around, but at that point that means there are gonna be cords running around that would normally have been routed under the desk. Maybe stick it inside the desk and run everything out from inside the desk. I don't know. But let me take just a minute and I'll hook it up and I'll plug some stuff into it. Just make sure the USB ports work, make sure that these actual outlets work appropriately, and then we'll close things out. All right, so I am back again. I've gone ahead and hooked up the eLiveBuy Supercharger and I'm testing it out. I'm actually using the Amazon Fire Phone as my sort of test device for the power consumption. It says here it's doing 1.3 amps or so on this 1 amp port. And then we'll take it over to the other one. And yeah, on the 2.4 amp port, it still says 1.3. That's probably the max this device is gonna be able to pull. All right, and here it is charging a Lime Fuel battery. Of course, the max input this Lime Fuel can take is about 2 amps. So maximum is 2, but it's, as you can see here, it's almost fully charged already. So it's topping out at about 1.65 amps there. And because I've had several people say that I should probably be testing these things with an iPad, I do have an iPad Air here. The iPad is actually almost fully charged, but you can see here it's at 1.6. I saw it up to as high as 1.75 amps earlier. Again, I think the iPad only pulls at about 2 amps at a maximum, so this is still, it's not gonna max it out, and I can't really think of any devices I have that really pull lots and lots of power. And as you can see at this point, I have plugged a couple of devices in here. I've got just actually a couple of lights. I've got a softbox light off to this side and another one off to this side that are both being powered by this supercharger at this point, as well as the iPad itself being powered. And because why not, let me go ahead and plug in the Fire Phone as well. We'll just double check the power consumption. Yeah, it's sticking right at around 1.4 amps on the iPad, but again, it's mostly full at this point, so it's not going to be drawing a huge amount of power. But yeah, overall, I would say that this thing is working very well out of the box. I don't have extensive testing, extensive knowledge of it, but just taking a look at the Amazon side, they do have 3 different versions of this one with 4 outlets, one with 6, and one with 8. As you remember here, I do have the one with 6 outlets. They do all come with a 5-port USB charger built into it. They're all 40-watt USB chargers. They all have the same port configuration, and they range between $27 and $33. $27, $30, and $33 basically. So not a terrible price. And it does have that surge protection built in, and it has the ability to just flip a switch and then all the power goes out, then flip it and it comes all back on. Hopefully everything doesn't just fry. Now, same amount of power coming through, the phone is being charged, the tablet's being charged, everything's good to go. So yeah, it ticks all the boxes for me as far as I'm concerned, except for the fact that, as you can see, sitting on a desktop like this is not a desk, it's a small laptop table, but still, sitting on a desk like this, you've got sort of unsightly cords sitting on the top, and then you've got your USB cable sticking out the front. Not exactly the ideal or optimal situation, but I would assume if nothing else, you could probably stick some Velcro to the bottom of this and put it on the side of a desk. You could put it on the underside of a desk. That would probably work. But yeah, if this is something you're interested in, I will have a link down in the video description where you can go and check it out. Remember, if you like this video, hit the like button down below the video. Subscribe to receive more videos as soon as they become available. Thank you guys so much for watching though, and I'll see you next time.